everybody, I'm Jim. I'm a the Forge Master here at the Lochapoka Forge, or more precisely, the Auburn Forge at Lochapoka. As you can see, we got a fire started behind us, and let me share with you some of the things that we make here. First of all, we make very practical things. Things like this. And you look at that and say, yeah, I don't know what that is. Watch. We put it over here, and right there we have a brand new door handle. Now actually, this is a small door handle. Sometimes we'll make door handles that look like this. This is called a big door handle. What a lot of people have yet to learn is, here at the Lochapoka Forge, we have blacksmiths that come from all over the state of Alabama. And they come here to learn to make towel racks. Now, we all know a towel rack is that thing in the bathroom that you hang your towels on. What you may not know is that I am the fastest towel maker in all of Alabama. That's why people come here. Now I'm going to show you the secret to making a towel rack and making it very, very quickly. So I need you to count to 3 with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Well, look at there. Have you ever seen anybody make a towel rack that fast? I told you, the fastest towel maker in all of Alabama. Some things we make take a little more time. Things like this, for instance. This is a knife, and it actually is made from an old railroad spike. This holds the rails on the railroad. But when they get old and worn out, we take them here and we clean them up and we'll make a knife out of them. This is just part of what we do. One of the things we do is we be very, very careful. Most people, when they come out and they start, they think that the metal will melt when it gets in a real hot fire, but it doesn't melt. It'll actually start to burn, and it'll throw off white sparks. It's very pretty, but the metal ends up like this. And once it looks like that, it's useless. So blacksmiths have to be very careful. Sometimes we make little knives like this. It's just a kitchen knife or a camping knife that people use to cut meat or vegetables. And really, these kinds of things last a long, long time because, of course, they're all handmade. Other practical things we make look like this. These are little hooks. This one, we drill a hole here, put a nail through it, and it would hang on the wall. This one, we take a hammer and drive it into the post, and it would just hang like that, and we can hang on it whatever we would like. So all these kinds of things are made here very, very routinely. So let me show you some more things over here. While we start talking here, let me go ahead and put this little piece of metal in the fire. Now if you look closely, you'll see this is all rusty. A lot of people would throw that away because it doesn't look good. But a blacksmith knows that under the rust, there's some beautiful metal that we can make something out of. And that's what we're going to do with this a little later on. That's why we need our fire going. So far, it looks pretty good. I'm going to tap it around a little bit. Oh, look there. And go to work on it. Now, a lot of people come to the forge and they ask if we make horseshoes. The answer is yes, we can make horseshoes. We can make mule shoes. Okay, if we look here, we'll see that a horse has a round foot, but a mule has a long, skinny foot. So if you're driving down the road and you see a horse in the pasture, you can roll down the window and say, "Hey, horse, you got a round, fat foot." Let's see what he says to that. But the other one that we work with sometimes is called an oxen. Now, an ox is like a great big bull, but they used to pull the covered wagons all the way out to California. But the ox does not have a long, skinny foot. He doesn't have a round foot. He's got what's called a cloven hoof. His hoof is split right at the very tippy toe end of his hoof. So, if we're going to put shoes on an oxen, each hoof takes 2 shoes. They're very small compared to a horse or a mule, even though the ox is very big. But you have to have 2 on each foot. So if we're going to go shoe an ox, how many of these do we have to take? Pretty good, huh? See, a blacksmith has to know how to do algebra and mathematics too. So if we've got 4 hooves and we need 2 on each foot, 2 times 4 is 8. Congratulations. So we've got to carry 8 of these with us if we're going to go shoe an ox. And we get those requests sometimes, but the truth is, we don't shoe animals. We can make these for a very specialized blacksmith called a farrier. He's the one that puts the shoes on the animals. It's a very, very important form of blacksmithing. So now we've done that, let's consider where we are. We are in the town of Lochapoka, Alabama. Well, Lochapoka is an old Creek Indian word. And before there were any white settlers came in here, the area where we are now was surrounded by small ponds. And those ponds had turtles and snakes and probably an alligator every now and then. But up the road at a place called Tallahassee, there was a large Creek Indian settlement. And they'd get on their horses and they had bags or sacks that they made, and they would come down here and they would camp out for a few days. And in that few days they'd go around to the different ponds and they would gather up these turtles. And the name they gave to this place was Lochapoka, which translated to English means the place of the turtle. So they'd go home with all these turtles they collected, and they'd have a big cookout. It was a great time. Well, let's say we had some Creek Indian friends, and they invited us to come over and work with them. Or after we worked with them, we could have dinner with them. So being good guests, we want to figure out something that we could make in the blacksmith shop that we could take up to Tallahassee to give to our Creek Indian friends by way of saying thank you for bringing us to dinner. Well, we're going to make something out of metal. We know that. So I'm going to take this little metal rod here and stick it in the fire and let it heat up a little bit. Now, while we're letting it heat up, we really have to figure out what to do with it. Should we make a gun out of it? Well, we could, but that takes an awful lot of time. Could we make a knife out of it? Yeah, but it would be a very, very small knife. So what could we do for our Indian friends? Now remember, this is a long time ago, and they still hunted for deer and rabbits and things like that. And before they had any guns, what did they use? The answer is a bow and arrow. Wow. Do we make a bow? Yeah, but that's not really what blacksmiths do. We make an arrow. Yeah, but that's not really what blacksmiths do. What we could do is make an arrowhead, something they could use to put on their stick with feathers down here that they could shoot with their bow and arrow. And that metal arrowhead is so much better than the stone arrowheads that they've been using. So let's see what we've got in here. Whoa! We have a rod that has some heat to it. So we're going to begin by shaping it. I'm going to give one more heat to this. Remember what I told you. That metal, if it's not looked after, will burn. So we want to be very careful not to burn up our arrowhead. We just want to heat it up so we can continue to make it. And, oh, it's gotten hot again. That didn't take long. Good. Tell you what I'm going to do. That looks kind of cool right now, doesn't it? Doesn't that look cool? Watch. If you think that's cool, watch this. Look at there. That is hot enough to set that leaf on fire. Wow. Do you think that would burn you? It sure will. As a matter of fact, that kind of burn is actually called a black metal burn. And it's part of the dangers working in the forge. You have to be very, very careful about personal safety when you work here. So let me go over here and do a little bit of shaping. And we'll start right here, and look what we have. We have an arrowhead that we can take to our Creek Indian friends in Tallahassee and thank them for the dinner that they prepared for us. Did it take us long? No, not really. But this would be a very, very valuable piece for our Creek Indian friends. So this is our introduction to the Auburn Forge. Forge is actually an interesting word. The word forge describes the building that we're in. The word forge is also used to describe where our fire is. And the word forge is used to describe a group of blacksmiths who come together, either to work together or have a meeting or such. So forge has a lot of different meanings. But the one meaning that we want you to understand is it's a place where you are always welcome. So when you can, feel free to come out. The best time to be here is on the second Saturday of each month. You come out then, you'll see several people working in here, making a wide variety of objects and tools and many, many other things. So thank you for visiting with us today, and I look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye now.